What's up, everybody? Welcome to Song 43, a podcast for those of you looking to get a deeper look at how this creator creates while being a mom, working full time, and doing all the things. This week, All the Things involves me trying to record this on Descript, which I thought I had recorded an entire episode in, and then my camera shut off and my recording disappeared. So we're trying it again. But last week, I was in Vegas. The week before that, I was in Amesbury, Massachusetts. So just to recap, if you've been listening for a minute, when I was in Amesbury, I stayed at a somewhat haunted feeling hotel, and several creators had crazy haunting experiences staying there. I did not. I did feel a definite vibe that it was super spooky. But yeah, the ghosts were very friendly. And I did love Newburyport. That's where I was actually staying. It was fantastic. Super cozy, super cute, super New England in peak fall. So 2 thumbs up. The creator camp was an amazing event. So well done. Kudos to Katie and the Ecamm fam for pulling it off because it was flawless. And so that event wrapped up, came home, didn't have a whole lot of time at home. I guess, well, a few days. And then was off to Vegas, where I went to something called TwitchCon. Now, if you're not a gamer, you probably haven't heard of it, but it's a streaming service and it's owned by Amazon. And TwitchCon is a convention for those who stream on Twitch. And you can be a musician, you can be a gamer, you can be a what's called IRL streamer, which is, I'm just going to say it, it's bananas. Okay, there were people at TwitchCon walking around with a camera, just holding it in front of their faces, streaming their entire lives. And it was a very unique experience to see that. But some of the other streamers are gamers, so they play a video game and they commentate and they have, lots of activity going on with that and lots of followers. And then there's musicians who make their living streaming music from their homes, which I think is super cool and I would love to explore. But gosh, I don't have the bandwidth. But I'm going to try. I have a Twitch channel, so maybe I'll try and do that. Maybe I'll start streaming the podcast on Twitch. Who knows? But also while I was in Vegas, I got to go see U2 at the Sphere, which was absolutely incredible. If you have an opportunity to get out there to do it, I cannot encourage it enough. So the way it came about is I was looking at all of these videos and seeing all these things in the news about U2 at the Sphere. I'm a big U2 fan. I started looking at tickets and started looking at going a different time of the year. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to be there for TwitchCon. So I'm already there. Work is paying for me to be there. So yeah, I need to get on board and just get a ticket. And so I did. And so I took myself to U2 at the Sphere. The venue's incredible. First of all, the sheer scale and size of it is impressive. It holds 18,000, but it feels like it's a venue, like a 1,000-seat theater. It just feels intimate while being enormous at the same time. I can't explain it. It's bizarre, but it was impressive. It was amazing. You walk into the Sphere, which is funneled through this random hallway from the Venetian, like where all their ballrooms and stuff are. You start following this herd and there's all these lovely people who are standing there with signs like Sphere this way. And so you follow the herd and you get into the Sphere and it's almost like a Disney ride. It felt very ethereal. The lighting was different. It was dim. The music was U2 music, but it was like the sound of U2 music, not an actual U2 song, just going from one song to the next. So that was neat when you first walked in, and then you get to your seat, you walk into this space and it's so quiet inside of the space. So you're in this huge, huge cavernous room, but it's not reverberant and bouncy. So the acoustics are perfect. When they were playing, it was loud, but not too loud. I wore hearing protection. I have custom earplugs, but I took them out on some songs because I didn't need them. It wasn't overpoweringly loud. And the show itself was incredible to watch from a visual perspective because they had these incredible, colorful visuals that were timed with the music. But they also had these wonderful moments of just 4 guys on a stage being U2. And you felt like you were at a club show. It felt so intimate and small. And even though you're with 18,000 other people, it just feels like you're right there hanging with Bono. So I was in the second section, 201 was my section. And that was like if you're looking out from the stage to the far right up against the side. And I was 8 rows up. But the thing about the Sphere is that there is no bad seat. Granted, if you're in the 100 section underneath the overhang where 200 section starts, you won't see the full effect all the way up to the top of the Sphere. So I wouldn't recommend those, but like every other seat was crazy. And the 400 section goes wicked high. If I sat up there, I would definitely have vertigo, because at one point during one of their songs, I was getting that kind of dizziness feel because of all the graphics going on around me, because it literally is surrounding you with the music and with the sounds. And it was too cool. So they played Achtung Baby, all of the songs on that, and then sprinkled in songs from Joshua Tree and Zooropa, and they did Atomic City, which had a really cool graphic element to it, where they have the whole city of Vegas pop up on the Sphere, and it looks like the wall of the Sphere has disappeared and that you're literally looking out onto the street, because you are like, they filmed the footage of the surrounding area of the Sphere, but you don't know if that's that night or like, pre-canned footage, which of course it was, but it was really neat. And then at one point they start dismantling all of the buildings. So instead of cranes building, they're taking the buildings apart, and it goes down to Atomic City level where there's just nothing there. And it brings you back to what Vegas looked like 100 years ago, which is so trippy to think of when Bono says it. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, this was only 100 years ago that there was nothing here. And when you're in Vegas, at least for me, I feel like every part about it does not make sense. Like, how is there a city of this magnitude, it's a small city, but big enough. How is the city of this magnitude in the middle of the desert? It just doesn't work. How do we have enough water to power all of the casinos and hotels and businesses here? How do they get enough electricity out here? Vegas hates me, and I'm not a fan of Vegas. My body freaks out every time I go. I've had shingles while in Vegas. I had something that was kind of like C. diff when I was in Vegas. This time, first night I'm there, I got in kind of late, woke up the next morning and got up to go to the bathroom, and was standing up 1 minute and sitting on the floor the next. Like, I almost passed out. So, my body's just like, why are you here again? We hate it here. Get us out of here. And I was there for 5 days. But U2 breaking that up in the middle totally helped. And the show was great. People had a good time. And I'm really glad that I got to experience that and see the Sphere and see U2, one of my favorite bands there, and hang with my coworkers, which is always fun. What I realized, because I skipped a week of my podcast, so sorry about that for my devoted listeners, but I was listening back to some previous episodes and realizing how much my content has just completely sucked over the past few months. So I apologize to you, devoted listeners, because this podcast is about how music comes to be and how I still create while I'm doing all the things. Well, guess what? I haven't had time to create. This computer that's sitting next to me over here, I haven't had time to produce or record or mix or engineer or anything. And that's hard. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to that and trying to re-engage with that artistic self. And I think that that's probably maybe cyclical. Maybe I've been doing this for over a year, but summertime and spring, it's nice outside and you don't necessarily want to be inside creating music. Except the thing is, I do love being inside and creating music all the time. And I think that I have this thing in my mind that blocks me, that tells me, oh, it's nice outside, I have to go outside, because that's what was ingrained in me when I was a kid. And now I feel like this pressure to tell my kids to go outside. Oh, it's too nice to be inside. Don't sit there watching TV. Well, they shouldn't be watching TV, but maybe they just need to calm down. Maybe they just need to chill out and unplug. And why is it our job to push them out of doors just simply because the sun is shining, the temperature is above 55 degrees? I don't know. So that was a diatribe. Long story short, I want to start making music more often and again. I have promised this album for January. I have no idea if it will come to fruition. It's not looking promising right now, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and, see where we get and see where we go. But for now, I am going to go and try and just write something. I filmed a little something this morning. Maybe I'll put a snippet of that in here. Maybe just hate to say it. I think I've got a better bridge idea for it. No words yet though, but we'll see. And yeah, get some creativity going. I'm energized after Creator Camp. I'm energized after TwitchCon, and I'm off the road for a bit. So all the things are going to be coming back home, down to earth, and doing music. So thank you for tuning in and sticking with me. Tell a friend about the podcast. Tell them to listen to like one of the middle episodes, maybe like the Wallflower one. That one's kind of good. Or like the His World. Yeah, those are good. So tell them about the show. I hope the rest of your week is fantastic. And as always, thanks for listening.